Mrs. Patel's eyes settled on Geeta's hand resting in Vikram's. Her expression changed. Mr. Patel noticed it too. The room suddenly felt much quieter. Vikram glanced at Geeta. She gave him a small nod. He turned back to her parents. "Sir, Mrs. Patel." He hesitated. "There's something Geeta and I should have told you a long time ago." Mr. Patel leaned back slightly. "I'm listening." Vikram took a breath. "Geeta and I are in love." Mrs. Patel looked immediately at her daughter. Mr. Patel stared at Vikram. Neither spoke. Geeta tightened her hand around Vikram's. "It's true, Papa." Mrs. Patel's surprise was clear. "How long?" Geeta looked at Vikram before answering. "For years." Mrs. Patel's eyes widened. "Years?" Geeta nodded. "We didn't know how to tell you." Mr. Patel looked from his daughter to Vikram. "You've both been seeing each other all this time, and neither of you thought we should know?" "Sir, we should have told you." He lowered his eyes briefly. "I should have come to you sooner." Mr. Patel remained quiet. Vikram continued. "I never wanted you to think I was being disrespectful to you or your family." He looked at Geeta. "I love your daughter." Then he turned back to her parents. "And I'm here tonight because I want to marry her." Mrs. Patel looked at Geeta. Geeta's eyes filled with hope. Mr. Patel studied Vikram carefully. "Marriage?" "Yes, sir." Mr. Patel was silent for a moment. Then his expression changed. "And your parents?" Vikram's confidence faltered. Mr. Patel noticed. "Do Mahesh and Lata know you're here?" Vikram shook his head. "No, sir." Mr. Patel frowned. "Do they know about you and Geeta?" Vikram took another breath. "They know now." Mrs. Patel looked concerned. "Now?" Geeta glanced at Vikram. Vikram knew there was no easy way to explain what had happened. "My father has chosen someone for me to marry." Silence filled the room. Mrs. Patel looked at Geeta. Mr. Patel's face became serious. "Someone else?" "Arti." Geeta lowered her eyes. Mrs. Patel immediately reached for her daughter's hand. "Geeta." Geeta looked at her mother. "I knew, Ma." Mr. Patel turned back to Vikram. "And what did you tell your father?" "I told him I couldn't marry Arti." He looked at Geeta. "Because I love Geeta." Mr. Patel watched him carefully. "And Mahesh accepted that?" Vikram was silent. That silence answered the question. Mr. Patel's concern deepened. "No, sir." "What did he say?" Vikram looked down for a moment. When he raised his eyes again, the confidence he had entered with was gone. "He gave me a choice." Geeta's mother looked at him. "What choice?" Vikram swallowed. "Marry Arti." He paused. "Or walk away from Sharma Textiles." Mr. Patel stared at him. "The business, my position, my future there." Mrs. Patel's expression changed from surprise to worry. Mr. Patel remained very still. After a long silence, he looked directly at Vikram. "Then I have only one question for you." Vikram waited. "If your father refuses to change his mind..." He glanced at Geeta before looking back at Vikram. "Which one will you choose?" Vikram froze. Geeta looked at him. For the first time that evening, hope wasn't the only emotion in the room. The question hung heavily in the room. If your father refuses to change his mind, which one will you choose? Vikram stared at Mr. Patel. Beside him, Geeta remained silent. She knew what Sharma textiles meant to Vikram, but she also knew what she hoped his answer would be. Vikram looked down at their joined hands. Then he slowly raised his eyes. "Sir, I don't know how to answer that." Mr. Patel's expression hardened slightly. "Then perhaps you aren't ready to ask for my daughter's hand." Geeta immediately looked at her father. "Papa?" Mr. Patel raised his hand gently. "Let him answer, Geeta." Vikram nodded. "You're right, sir. You deserve an answer." He sat forward. "But if I sit here and tell you that Sharma Textiles means nothing to me, I'd be lying to you." Mr. Patel watched him closely. "My father has been preparing me for that business since I was a boy." He paused. "I grew up inside that factory. He taught me how the business works, how to deal with suppliers, how to manage the workers, how to make decisions when things go wrong." Vikram glanced toward Geeta. "I never prepared for another life." Mrs. Patel's expression softened, but Mr. Patel remained serious. "One day, Sharma Textiles was supposed to become my responsibility." He looked directly at Mr. Patel. "I want that future, sir." Geeta lowered her eyes. Vikram noticed. He immediately turned toward her. "But I want my future with Geeta, too." Geeta looked back at him. "I love her." His voice softened. "I've loved her long before Artie's name was ever mentioned." Mrs. Patel looked at her daughter. Geeta's eyes were fixed on Vikram. "I'm not here because I want to choose between Geeta and my family." He looked at both of her parents. "I'm here because I'm hoping I don't have to." Mr. Patel leaned back. "And what exactly are you asking from us?" Vikram took a breath. This was the reason they had come. "First, your blessing." Geeta looked toward her parents. "I want to marry Geeta." He paused. "And I want to do it properly." Mrs. Patel glanced at her husband. "But I also came because I need your help." Mr. Patel's eyebrows lifted slightly. "My help?" "Yes, sir." Vikram sat straighter. "My father is angry with me. Right now, anything I say he sees as defiance. But you and my father have been neighbors for years." Mr. Patel listened. "If you and Mrs. Patel came to our home, if you spoke to my parents as Geeta's parents," hope returned to Vikram's voice. "Maybe my father would listen." Geeta turned toward her father. "Papa, we're not asking you to fight with Uncle Mahesh. We just want him to understand that we're serious." Mrs. Patel looked at her daughter. "And you truly believe Mahesh will change his mind?" Geeta hesitated. "I don't know, Ma." She looked at Vikram. "But we have to try." Mr. Patel was quiet. He looked at Vikram for a long moment. "You are asking me to go next door and tell Mahesh Sharma that his son wants to marry my daughter instead of the woman he has chosen for him." Vikram nodded slowly. "Yes, sir." Mr. Patel looked at Geeta, then back at Vikram. "Before I walk into that house and stand before your father," his voice became firmer, "I need to know exactly what I would be standing for." Vikram listened. Love is easy to speak of when everything is going well. He glanced at his daughter. Marriage is different. Mr. Patel leaned forward. "So tell me, Vikram." Vikram waited. "Why should I trust you with my daughter?" Vikram's expression changed. Geeta looked at her father. Mrs. Patel remained silent. And once again, the room waited for Vikram's answer. Mr. Patel's question hung in the room. Why should I trust you with my daughter? Vikram didn't answer immediately. He looked at Geeta beside him. She wasn't smiling now. She simply watched him, waiting. Vikram turned back to her father. Because I love her, sir. Mr. Patel remained still. You've already told me that. Vikram nodded. Then let me tell you what that means to me. He took a breath. Geeta has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. He glanced at her. We grew up next door to each other. A small smile touched Geeta's face. She knew me before Sharma Textiles became my whole world. Before there were responsibilities. Before there were expectations. His expression softened. With Geeta, I've never had to be Mahesh Sharma's son. He looked at her. I've only had to be Vikram. Geeta's eyes filled with emotion. Mrs. Patel looked quietly at her daughter. I know keeping our relationship from you was wrong. He turned back to Mr. and Mrs. Patel. And I won't make excuses for that. But I have never played with Geeta's feelings. Mr. Patel studied him. I would never come into your home and ask for your blessing if I wasn't serious about marrying her. A silence followed. Then Mr. Patel spoke. Marriage requires more than love, Vikram. I know, sir. Do you? His tone wasn't angry, but it was firm. Love feels very powerful when two people are sitting together making promises. He looked at Geeta. But marriage comes with responsibility. He turned back to Vikram. A husband must be prepared to stand beside his wife when life becomes difficult. Vikram nodded. And from what you've told me, life may become very difficult for both of you. Mrs. Patel looked concerned. Mahesh has already threatened to take the business away from him. Mr. Patel nodded. Exactly. He looked directly at Vikram. Suppose I give you my blessing. Vikram listened carefully. Suppose I go next door with my wife and speak to your parents. A little hope returned to Geeta's face. And suppose Mahesh still says no. The hope faded. What happens to Geeta then? Vikram's expression became serious. Sir, I'm asking you to help me make sure it doesn't come to that. Mr. Patel shook his head slightly. No. Vikram fell silent. You are hoping it doesn't come to that. He leaned forward. There is a difference. Geeta looked at her father. Papa, Vikram is trying. Mr. Patel's expression softened when he looked at her. I know he is. He looked back at Vikram. And I respect that he came here instead of asking my daughter to run away with him. Vikram immediately shook his head. I would never ask Geeta to do that. Mr. Patel watched him. I don't want to take her away from her family. His voice became more certain. I want our families to accept us. Mrs. Patel looked at her husband. That's why we're here. He paused. I'm not asking you to choose between Geeta and her family, and I'm hoping my father will understand that he shouldn't ask me to choose either. Mr. Patel's expression softened slightly. For the first time, he saw more than two young people trying to protect a secret romance. He saw two people hoping to build a life without destroying the families they loved. Mr. Patel leaned back. Mahesh is a proud man. Vikram nodded. I know. And if he has already promised you to another family, changing his mind will not be easy. I know that too. Mr. Patel glanced at his wife. Mrs. Patel gave him a thoughtful look. Then Mr. Patel turned to Geeta. And you? Geeta looked surprised. Me? I've heard what Vikram wants. He looked into his daughter's eyes. Now, I want to hear from you. Geeta sat a little straighter. You know what Vikram could lose if he goes against his father. He paused. You know Mahesh does not approve of this relationship. Geeta nodded. And you know there is another woman whose family believes she is going to marry Vikram. Geeta's expression changed at the mention of Arti. Mr. Patel leaned forward. Knowing all of that, he looked directly at his daughter. Are you certain this is the life you want? Geeta looked at her father, then at her mother. Finally, she turned toward Vikram. Vikram said nothing. This time, the answer had to come from her.